Just 10 years ago, a doctor came into the room and said in a complete matter-of-fact way, "Chris, you'll never walk again." My wife Sylvia and I hugged each other and we just cried. 4 weeks earlier, I had crashed my motocross in the desert of Dubai. I had flown over the handlebar, I had fallen on my head, I had broken my back, I had severed my spinal cord, I had broken most of my ribs. I was airlifted from the desert by helicopter. I had immediate surgery. I was transported finally to Holland by air ambulance. Some people say I was having a bad day. There's a certain finality to the words, "You will never walk again." And at first, I'm not sure I understand exactly what it meant for me. Not only did it mean that nothing below my chest would ever function properly again. Not my legs, not my feet, not any feeling, no function, no movement, not my nothing. It also meant that I would be fighting infections and complications my whole life. It meant that I would not be able to regulate my body temperature. It meant that I would lose all control of my bladder and my bowels. It meant that I would suffer chronic nerve pain and spasticity. Oh yeah, and it meant as well that I would have a shorter lifespan. I thought to myself, oh, come on. All that and forever? I mean, what, did I win something? It can't be all this and no cure, no therapy, no hope. Surely someone, somewhere, something was trying to find a cure or a workaround, I don't know, a magical pill or a miracle for this. Or well, maybe there's an app for it. Well, let me try. Alexa, make me walk again.
Are you serious? Do you honestly think I can make you walk again? Who do you think I am? Come on, Chris. You promised to ask me an easy question. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Don't worry. I think she's just angry because I didn't say please. I actually use Alexa the whole time, and I love it because, it allows me, it's a technology that allows me to switch off the lights or change music without having to get off my lazy bum. It allows me to call someone in case of emergency one of the many times that I find myself on the floor, but it's clear that tonight she's not going to help me walk again. Plenty of people will, and there's just so much research taking place, these things. Take, for example, the people who are trying to repair the spinal cord through stem cell research. It's true that not enough is known about how stem cells work. And it's true that there's a lot of internet noise that creates totally unrealistic expectations. But the theory, although in its infancy, is very promising. Or maybe look at the teams who are the researchers who are trying to find a way around the injured area. They have shown that the spinal cord has the capacity to recover given the right combination of epidural stimulation. So that's like a device that they implant in the back of the patient, and that gives electrical signals to certain parts of the lower spinal cord. So epidural stimulation, an ongoing physiotherapy scheme, as well as the intent to step. So a lot of brain to body connections. And it works. And it works, and it has already allowed some of the individuals who are participating in this research program to stand up, to recover some functions and some feeling, and for some of them, even to independently walk as well. And I mean, seriously, that's amazing, isn't it? Or look at the example of the people who are trying to cure paralysis by researching how robotics, artificial intelligence, brain-to-machine interface can help create movement or leverage on existing strength. I'm sure you've all seen those robotic suits and the exoskeletons. I mean, they're getting better, lighter, more efficient every single day. And whilst at 75,000 euros, they're neither affordable nor practical for outdoor use, yet they will be soon. I think what's clear is that whatever the solution will be, it won't be easy. It will require surgery, it will require a lot of time, hundreds and hundreds of hours of physiotherapy, and unlimited funds. But it will happen. It will happen thanks to the groundbreaking efforts of researchers such as the ones at the University of Louisville, the UCLA, and the Mayo Clinic. It will happen thanks to the incredible efforts of charities and fundraisers such as the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation and the Wings for Life World Run. There's never been more hope. It's simple. There's never been more hope for the estimated 60 million people who live with paralysis today. For the 250,000 people plus who every year get a spinal cord injury. There's never been more hope in terms of survival rate, in terms of life expectancy, in terms of independence and quality of life. There's never been more progress in terms of care and the equipment that's available. And we haven't seen as much activities or sport facilities as we've seen today. In reality, it's a fantastic time to be disabled. Today, with everything that's available, with the technology, the tools, I drive a normal car. I hook up my handbike, my e-bike to my wheelchair and go handbike around town. I transfer onto a racing hand cycle and go for long rides across the country. I use a special wheelchair that allows me to kind of stand up straight and talk to people at eye level in the bar. I travel independently. I do any sports that I can and partake in every crazy adventure that comes my way, to the great despair of my wife. However, back then, fresh after my accident, whilst still lying in my bed, completely paralyzed, unable to move but my arms, confused and in terrible pain. I did not know what to do or what to think. And I honestly thought that technology was the only thing that could help me. I did not know what was truly important yet. And then an incredible thing happened. Amidst the chaos and the confusion and the pain, one simple but magical thing happened. I smiled. And as I smiled, Sylvia smiled as well. And people around me smiled, and we laughed, and we acted normal, and we spoke about the future. You see, just because I was positive, the only thing that was different is that I had a positive attitude. The only thing that was different is that I had chosen early on that I was not going to let myself be demoralized, that I was not going to dwell into victimhood, and I was not going to feel sorry for myself. And people felt it. And as people felt it, they stopped looking at the wheelchair. They stopped seeing me as a sick, handicapped person. They saw me as Chris, as me. And that made a whole difference. I was being treated like a human again, with dignity, and I loved it. You see, that's the power of a positive attitude. That is the power of the contagious, the contagious power of humor and positivity. That's also when I decided that I wasn't going to let my accident define me. What I wanted is what I did afterwards. I wanted my attitude, I wanted my actions to define who I really was. So I rushed out of rehab and went straight on to work, and that was rewarding. Sylvia encouraged me, for you guys, that's forced me in marriage lingo. Sylvia encouraged me to go full on back into social life, and that was empowering. My friends introduced me to all kind of new sports and dragged me along on their bike rides and their runs and their swims. And before I knew it, I was signing in to every single run and marathon that there was available. I was joining on long bike rides and doing triathlons, and that was invigorating. Sorry. And it's by doing all this, by being in the middle of it, that I realized that this was for me what made a big difference. For me, that was my cure. For me, that was better than any technology. That was for me my walking moment. I had a family. I have a wife. I have 2 children. I have friends. I wanted to take responsibility for my life. I wanted to accept this change not as something difficult, but as an opportunity to push beyond all limits. And what I especially wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that I continue to live a fulfilling life in spite of all the inconveniences of my paralysis. I wanted to continue dreaming big, and I wanted to enjoy the ride, even when it wasn't the one that I had initially envisioned. And don't get me wrong, it's not always easy. My life is not without very lonely, painful, frustrating, and dark hours. And just the other day, when I was feeling down, when I felt that things were so bad that I just didn't want to fight anymore, I started listening to all those little lies in my head. The ones that said that I'm not good enough, the ones that said that I will never get better, that I will never be strong enough. The ones that say that I'm a drain on my family and that I don't add any value. That night, That night I said to Sylvia that I felt that her life would be easier without me. She paused and looked at me and she said, it would be easier, but it wouldn't be better. I remind myself of this every time I feel that life is unfair or unjust, that I just don't have the energy or the willpower to face the day or get out of bed. You see, I remind myself that I'm strong, but that my strength doesn't only come from inside of me. It also comes from the loving, from the inspiring people that I choose to surround myself with. I'm conscious that my positive energy is not only fueled by my thoughts, but my positive energy is fueled by my actions. And I have to work hard, and I have to work even harder, and I'll never have to stop working hard, even when you know that there is no immediate reward. Technologies such as the exoskeleton and epidural stimulation will one day facilitate my movement. But I will not, and I cannot wait for them all my life. My cure comes from within, and whatever comes in my path, I can let it beat me, or I can deal with it. I've made my choice. I'll deal with it. Thank you.